Of the Apes, but last night Charlton Heston's performance didn't require any acting skills. The 75-year-old Hollywood star played himself at an audience with Charlton Heston. What's more, he didn't charge a penny for his appearance. He agreed to appear at a small theatre in Tewkesbury after a local drama student asked for his help.
Rather than writing to Mr. Heston requesting money, I asked if he'd give me an hour of his time. He phoned up, out of the blue.
It's nice to see a young actor start to come through to where he hopes to be.
Now you've seen him and met him, do you think he's got a chance of stardom and greatness?
Now that remains to be seen, doesn't it?
The show involved Nick interviewing his hero and then sharing a question and answer session with the audience. The profits will help him pay the £2,500 he requires every term for theatre school. Nick hopes the evening will lead to a lucrative acting career, and who knows, maybe one day he'll be able to repay Mr. Heston by starring in an audience with Nick Wilkes. Sonia Legg, GMTV News, Tewkesbury.
Best of luck to Nick. Well, welcome to Tewkesbury. Now, Charlton Heston, as we may know, is in the area. He's performing in Malvern tomorrow in the romantic comedy Love Letters, in which he stars with his wife, Lydia Clark Heston. Tonight, though, he's in Tewkesbury at the Roses Theatre for something completely different, because this is going to be an audience with Charlton Heston. Hello, Charlton, welcome.
How are you? Nice to see you.
Now, you're here because of this chap behind you, Nick Wilkes. Nick, tell us, how did you get Charlton Heston here?
I wrote him a letter and he phoned me up.
What was in that letter?
Well, I'm a student at the Bristol Old Vic Theatre School, and like many of the students there, I'm trying to do some fundraising for my tuition fees. Lots of the students there write to well-known people requesting sponsorship, although I don't particularly like the idea of just asking a stranger for money. I wrote to Mr. Heston asking if he would give me an hour of his time and detailed an idea for this evening, and he phoned up and more or less accepted.
Now, Charlton Heston, why did you agree to do this?
Well, he asked me politely for one thing, and not for the first time. I have had queries like that before. It's fairly commonplace and I think entirely appropriate. The hardest thing for any young actor is to get some experience of the ambience of the theater, even if you're not in a play. And this is a stage where we are now. This is where actors live. And Nick is spending some time with me tonight, talking about this and that and the other. And I do, from time to time, seminars at universities and schools about acting.
Of course, now you could get thousands of hard-up drama students writing to you and asking for the same thing, couldn't you?
Well, I think we'll face that when we come to it.
So, Nick, just how difficult are things, then, for a drama student like you?
3 of the terms I've paid entirely off my own back. My life savings has gone into it, and I work many part-time jobs.
Does this ring bells with you, Charlton, when you were studying?
Yes, I went through the same. I worked in a steel mill one summer, and then worked running an elevator on the night shift. I didn't mind that. It was a great place to rehearse. They had a great big lobby. You could rehearse scenes.
And tonight, of course, now you're going to be talking about your life and career. Have you been doing your research, Nick?
I have indeed. Many, many pages of text I've been reading through.
Are you a Charlton Heston fan?
Very much, aren't we all?
Now, what would he say in answer to, come on?
I understand he's got a bit of a thing about Cary Grant, is that right?
Also, Cary Grant is a fine actor.
Oh, indeed. There really has never been an actor that could do what Grant could do.
Well, I'm sure everyone's very appreciative for what you're doing tonight, Charlton Heston. Nick, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Are you nervous?
Very much.
Are you nervous?
No.
OK, thank you very much. From the Roses Theatre in Tewkesbury, it's back to the studio.
Nina Nanar with a star of now and of the future.
The theatre was packed, which at £9 a head in the 400-seat house was good news. It's also Nick's home theatre. He works there as a part-time projectionist. I've been a great admirer of Mr. Heston's for a long time. I followed his film career with great interest. I'm now a theatre student at the Bristol Old Vic Theatre School. It occurred to me while he was in the country that I would contact Mr. Heston with this idea in mind. Rather than asking for sponsorship, I asked if he'd give me an hour of his time. It's all gone from there. The 76-year-old actor's in Britain with his wife Lydia to perform in the play Love Letters. They're in Malvern at the Festival Theatre for tonight until the end of the week. But acting, let alone the movies, is notoriously hard to succeed in, no matter how much training. Would you, after your years in the business, would you say to Nick, do it or don't do it? And it's a tough business to get on in, isn't it?
It is a very hard business to crack, no question. Spencer Tracy gave the best advice I've ever heard of to actors. Show up on time, know your words, and don't bump into anything.
Does that hold true for you?
I do my best.
He's made a success of it, as the audience willingly testified. What are your favourite films? El Cid, Ben-Hur, Planet of the Apes?
My favourite, Greatest Show on Earth. I think that's a brilliant film.
He's a very good actor, and all those epics he's done are wonderful.
As for Nick, well, after asking questions about the theatre, Shakespeare and films, he bowed out of the limelight, albeit temporarily. The man himself left for his hotel. He'd seen it all before.
What an opportunity. So now, if you had an hour of somebody's time, who would you pick?
Well, I wouldn't mind meeting him, actually. It'd be quite good. But I think Julie Walters.
She'd be funny, wouldn't she?
She would author ahead.
Oh, yeah, she'd be good. She'd be great.
Imagine you need more than an hour to talk to them.
Yeah, you would. Oh, well, give us something to think about.